Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry Guy, the man who may cry devil, and the King of Thieves, and the man who didn't see Onward, Steven. Hey Steven, how are you?
We almost had a straightforward one, but you had to add another one there. I'm going to see Onward. And eventually.
I needed you to see it already, Steven.
Also, I need to play Devil May Cry again. It's been a while. I'm just waiting for my setup to finally be functional. It's functional. It just is far from optimal. So, Devil May Cry is coming, I promise. By the way, I know you can't see this right now, Jake, but I've got a headache again today because I didn't sleep well at all last night because 1:59 a.m. turned to 3 a.m. before my very eyes. And it was not fun. So I've decided that for today, instead of using the sunglasses, because everyone's like, oh, Steven looks hungover and he's wearing sunglasses indoors, I bet he looks so cool. I've got my Division 2 hat on, but the like front, the bill is really low. So like I'm covering the lights, but also I'm covering the camera lens from like my vision. So people probably won't be able to see my face for the majority of this podcast. They'll see the lower half. They'll see my mouth. That's what's important, right?
Is that what's important?
I don't know. I just cringed at myself saying that. Why would...
I feel like
I don't know.
Maybe the eyes are the most important part of the face.
Oh, yeah. Those are gone.
Those are gone? Okay, all right. No one can see Steven today. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We've got a great show for you. This is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. Lighter news week, but a lot of great PlayStation news. We're going to talk about the Ghost of Tsushima release date announcement trailer. We're going to talk about Last of Us being turned into a TV show, not a movie now. It's a TV show with HBO. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to catch up and talk a little bit about Onward, which I saw this weekend, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Castlevania Season 3 on Netflix, and then Steven's been playing a little bit of this Warlords of New York on the Division 2.
He's very greatly understating how much I've been playing it. I'm addicted, and I need to help.
I need to help. I need all the help I can get. Well, let's just jump into it. Let's start with the Ghost of Tsushima. So out of nowhere, what was it, Tuesday? This announcement came.
Yeah.
Basically, Ghost of Tsushima is coming out on June 26th of 2020. So almost exactly a month after Last of Us Part 2. Is that too close, Steven, for you? Are you playing both of these? I assume you're playing both of these.
Probably. I'm more likely to play Ghost of Tsushima than I am to play Last of Us.
Really?
Yeah, and I know that's going to be surprising, but I kind of have the same problem with Ellie as I did as I do with a lot of characters, where I like them as characters, but I don't want to play as them. And so I don't know if I'll get Last of Us 2 at least right away. I probably will get it eventually, but I'm more interested in the gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima than I am with Last of Us 2.
It looks so good. So they also released a new trailer along with this to make the announcement. Showed a lot more story. Did you watch the trailer, Steven? Have you gotten to watch it?
Nope.
No? Okay, all right. Well, I don't think it's any spoilers or anything, but if you're like blackout, I'm not hearing anything about this game, then, whatever, skip on. But basically, it starts out with your main character's name's like Jin, and I forget how to say his last name, Jin Shika or something like that. But anyway, he is being trained by his father in the ways of samurai, and he's talking about how when you make a kill, you have to look your enemy in the eye to show respect or something like that. And every kill, is taking a man's life. You owe them to look them in the eye. And then it cuts to after all of this disaster of Jin stabbing somebody in the back. So it's it showed a lot about how there's a line that Jin says about basically says I am samurai, but I will do whatever it takes to save my home or something like that. And it just it got my blood going. I'm so excited for that game. We got to see a lot more of the other characters that are in it, not just Jin, who is really kind of all we've seen so far. We got to see the main bad guy, who they call him the Khan in the trailer. And then there's a lady who we've seen in some other gameplay that you end up dueling at the end of that gameplay demo. And then we see, of course, his dad, some more being troubled by him using the ways of the ghost to kind of get the advantage. So I'm really, really excited about this game. I'm trying to decide how I want to play my first playthrough. If I want to go all out and use the ghost abilities, whatever, or do I want to play full samurai? Because apparently you can do that. Like, you can still play the game as if you're an honorable samurai. I just don't know if I could do it in my first playthrough. I don't want to miss out on everything cool.
I will probably be Paragon of Goodness, samurai, very honorable, does nothing wrong on my first playthrough.
I mean, I'll always be good, you know what I mean? Like, I'll help people, but am I gonna stab a brother in the back, you know what I mean? Or am I gonna stare him in the eyes as I take his life, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. And
so
the ghost uses a bow, and I'm not sure if the samurai uses a bow, and that's a problem for me. So,
okay. Well, samurai should use a bow because that is a samurai weapon.
Okay.
Also, saying that you'll be a good samurai, but you'll stab someone in the back is literally the least samurai thing you could have possibly said.
Okay, Steven, look, all I'm saying is I will be a good person. I will do the right thing. I will help people, but I may, stab them from the shadows.
I may murder.
I may murder
someone.
You know what I mean? It may happen.
I'm a good guy. Do I kill occasionally? Of course I do. Who doesn't? You know?
There's a time to kill and there's a time to kill again. You know what I mean? It's just where to go.
And then sometimes there's time enough to kill a third time. It just depends on what day of the week it is.
Sometimes you gotta stab a guy in the back, and some guys you gotta look him in the eye. Sometimes you gotta shoot him with a bow. Sometimes you gotta drop a smoke bomb. It's just whatever happens.
Look, killing's killing. You know, honor schmonner.
Honor schmonner. Wow. But anyway, yeah, very excited for Ghost of Tsushima. It's going to be very exciting. But that's really it. They did talk about there's like a deluxe edition and a special edition and all that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in those type of things, you can go get that. I got the deluxe edition that had some fun little pre-order bonuses, but I'm just so hyped for this game. So I was ready to do whatever. Any other thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima, Steven, you'd like to say before we move on?
I am looking up absolutely nothing about it.
Oh, you're going almost blacklisting then.
I'm going in as blind as I can because it seems like one of those games. Because with some games like just using Division as an example or Anthem as an example, there's some games that are like co-op that I'm playing with friends that are very mechanically driven to where there's like an understanding will help you, and that understanding will help you help other people. Those are the games I usually look up the most about, but Ghost of Tsushima and other games where I know that I'll probably get them, and I don't really need to be sold on them, those are the most fun for me to go into completely blind, because I don't know what to expect, and I can't, I can just take a game for what it is. That's pretty much how I did Spider-Man. I watched I think the trailers that they showed, but I went in blind other than that, and I'm so glad I did. Because I got so much out of it.
I wish I had that kind of restraint. You know what I mean? I don't have that power over mind to just ignore and to move on because I have to know everything about it.
Being ADD occasionally, like 1 out of 10,000 times actually helps you, and this is one of those times when you can't like if you think about something and you're just like, oh, I'm tempted to look up something for that. It's fine. 4 seconds later, there'll be something else that like you'll see a bird and it'll remind you of a trauma you had when you were in the 4th grade. Like, you know, like
Did you say a trauma or a Tron?
A trauma.
Okay.
Why would I say Tron?
I don't know, but then I started to question. I was like, do I not know something?
Those homeschoolers, those homeschoolers, they watch Tron in the 4th grade. That's part of the curriculum.
I might have missed something. All right. Speaking of missing something, Last of Us. I don't know why that's a segue. Last of Us is being produced by. I don't know who's. Anyway, there's a Last of Us TV show coming out, Steven. It's coming out on HBO. It is being done as part of the Sony's Pictures, which was announced. That's their, movie TV studio that PlayStation built this past year. But it's also being done with HBO. It's being done by. I'm trying to find the name of the director. Okay, all right. So it's being done by the creator of the Chernobyl series on HBO, which was very, very good, I've heard. Craig Mazin, maybe? It's being done by him, and then Neil Druckmann is attached to the project. Neil Druckmann, of course, is one of the main writers for Last of Us. So that's being produced. It's being produced in part with Sony Pictures. We got Chernobyl director, creator attached to it. We got Neil Druckmann attached to it. Steven, what are your initial thoughts?
I really hope they don't do the Joel and Ellie story.
And kind of do something different.
I feel like, based on like the article headlines that I've seen, they're totally going to do the Joel and Ellie story. And I think that's a huge mistake. Because Last of Us is one of those games that you think to yourself, oh man, that would make a great movie or TV show. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. It's already a great movie / TV show that you can just play. Mm-hmm. It's already so cinematic. The graphics are already so good. What are you going to gain from watching a TV show of what you've already experienced? So just take us somewhere else, because the outbreak of the clickers and everything, that happened everywhere.
Right.
Show us something else. That would be great. Because it's an interesting world idea. So do something with it. Don't give us what we've already seen just for the sake of the script already being written for you, basically.
Right.
Take risks.
Well, hopefully they'll take risks with what we know, and I don't know. Maybe they'll show us some things that we didn't get to see in the game. But I mean, to answer your question, it is a great story. But if somebody who doesn't play video games or didn't think they would like to play that game, they might watch it. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I would kind of see doing their story again. But
at that point, who is the show really for? Us or them?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
At that point, who's the show really for? Us or the people who don't play video games?
That's a great question. I would assume. I mean, here's my thing. I played the video game. I loved the story. I'm probably going to watch the show. Yeah. As somebody who maybe never did play the game but heard it was a great story, I would maybe be interested in watching it. So I don't know. I don't know who is it really for. I mean, you're going to watch it, right?
Probably.
Yeah. See, that's my thing. I mean, it's one of those unfortunate things where, we always say, like, vote with your wallet. You know, if this isn't the kind of thing you want to continue seeing, then don't support it. But yet, we all support it because we all love these things.
If it's only going to be available on HBO, then I probably won't watch it because I don't have HBO and I refuse to get it because I have no need for it. And I don't think that one show is enough for me to justify that. I'll probably just, at the very most, mooch off of somebody else to watch an episode
what
or two to see if it.
What you got to do if you want to be savvy about it is you got to wait till it's all out. Then you get the 1 month trial, or you get you just do it for 1 month. It's like $8, and then no, it's more than that. You just do the 1 month, you binge it all, and then you cancel your subscription and you move on. what I do for Game of Thrones and Westworld. Just a tip, just a thought for anybody out there. Anyway, well, so would you agree with this though, Steven? To me, if we're gonna do a Last of Us story, I feel like this is the best way to do it. Like when Sony Pictures was announced, or the PlayStation studio was announced, I got real nervous because I was just like, "Ooh, it doesn't matter who they bring in or what they do. It's a new studio. We don't know what to expect out of them. How is this going to work?" But for them to partner with HBO, who has given me, this is a bad example, but Game of Thrones, Westworld, some other really, really great shows. And then, so Chernobyl is one that is really, really good from all the stuff I've seen about it. It's one of the ones I want to watch at some point. I probably will watch it when I get my subscription back for Westworld. But basically, to take people who we know can produce a good story on screen, and then partner them with Neil Druckmann, who created this world and created these stories that we know. Would you agree that is like, if we were going to do it, this is the best case scenario to make it work?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's the only thing that kind of gives me hope about the whole thing is it's like, okay, they're doing it right. They're doing what they need to be doing. They're doing a lot like Marvel's doing with their video games where, let's let Insomniac make an amazing Spider-Man game. And, so they're letting other people take their properties and then work with you with your property to make a great story. I think that's going to work. It's going to be good. I'm also with you. I hope, or I wish that they would be doing something that wasn't Joel and Ellie. Like let's maybe take a different angle of the story. But who would you want to play Ellie, and who would you want to play? Blanking on his name. I can't. Joel.
Joel.
Thank you. Who do you want to play them?
Seeing Carl Urban in The Boys, like visually, makes me really wish that he would be Joel, because I feel like if he could get the accent down, he would make an excellent Joel.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I want Ellen Page to stay as far away from this project as possible.
She's too, unless they wanted to just really surprise us and we suddenly were in the same time period as we are in Last of Us Part 2, I don't see how she could be attached to the project. You know what I mean? Like she'd be too old at this point.
She's been good in things. Like she was fine in Inception. I loved Inception. But like over the past few years, I talked about this, I think, on the Risk of Rain stream. But she just like she was Vanya in Umbrella Academy. Mm-hmm. She was terrible. She was so flat, and I could not get invested with her character because she just was like dead in every scene. And then when she finally like has emotion, it's like, that's too much, Ellen. Stop.
Ellen, that's too much. Tone it down.
But like she's obviously everyone's first go to for like, she should play Ellie in Last of Us because there are a lot of parallels. But I just keep her away from me. I just don't like her acting as of late.
Yeah. I really think the guy who played Jaime Lannister, I don't know if I can pronounce his name right. It's like Nicola Costa-Waldau. I'm sorry if I'm horribly mispronouncing that. I think he would be an awesome Joel, especially if you like look at him from like later seasons of Game of Thrones when he had a beard. He looks a lot like Joel. But then another suggestion I saw on Twitter was Caitlin Dever. I'm not sure what she's from. I think she's on another HBO show. But she looks like she could play the part of Ellie pretty well. And then I don't know this actress's name either, but on The Witcher, in the first episode, there's a young girl who kind of befriends Geralt and walks him around the town. I think she could be a really good Ellie, but I don't know her name. So
let's just get the other famous Ellen to be Ellie. Ellen DeGeneres. Let's just make her Ellie.
That's a great idea.
That'd be so weird. That'd be so weird.
Have you watched?
Especially if we get like the Killing Spree Ellie. It's just Ellen DeGeneres.
Have you seen? You've probably seen some bits where like Ellen inserts herself into different TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing. I'm just picturing her like that's how the whole thing is done. She just inserts herself in the role. Oh man, that would be great. That would be great. Well, that's all the news I have. So Steven, let's catch up. Tell me, do you want to go first? Would you like to hear about my stuff and then you go into the Warlords of New York, or do you want to just dive right in?
Tell me about your stuff.
Okay.
And then I'll finish it.
What you want to hear about first? Onward or Castlevania?
Castlevania.
Okay. Castlevania Season 3. Arguably one of the best video game to TV show adaptations ever. Castlevania continues to be great. The animation and fight scenes are awesome. The characters are still very lovable and very fun. And it's interesting, the cast has really expanded this season. So you've got your main three folks, Alucard, Trevor Belmont, and then Cypher. I don't think she has a last name. I don't know if she has a last name. Anyway, in season 1, those three kind of find each other, and then in season 2, they plot to kill Dracula. Spoilers for anything. Have you seen any of these seasons, Steven?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I won't spoil anything. But then this season, a lot of those main characters have split up. Trevor and Cypher are together, and then Alucard is on his own. But then some of the villains that we were introduced in last season, Carmilla, and then these Forge Masters, Isaac, and I'm trying to think of the other one's name. He's in a bad place. He's in a bad way. This kid, Hector. So we were following like 4 different storylines happening. We're following the Belmonts and Cypher. We're following Alucard. We're following Hector. We're following Isaac. And they're all on just these really interesting different paths. And basically it looks like this season was setting up a lot of things for the next season. So season 4 is probably going to have some huge conflicts. But it was very, very good. I watched it all in one sitting. It is a lot to do in one sitting. I would recommend breaking it up a little bit, just because it's a very dark show. Like, not a lot of good things happen. You know what I mean? Like, the good guy always wins, but man, a lot of crap happens in between. That's just depressing.
Yep.
And just the worldview is really, really sad. There's one episode in particular, Isaac, who in the game, I don't know if it's relevant to the games, but he's a Forge Master, and basically Forge Masters can, I don't know if it's when they kill or what, but basically they can turn dead bodies into nightmare creatures or night creatures, and so it's kind of a thing that only humans can do, but the vampires, hire them to do that for them. Anyway, he is building a night creature army to attack some other people. And basically there was an episode where he came into a town. He met with a guy to see if he had a certain special mirror that could like show him things, kind of like, mirror, mirror on the wall, whatever. He met with that guy, and the guy just gives him the mirror. He's like, let me show you this as an act of kindness, whatever. So then he walks out of the store and into the street, and he's got literal monsters with him. Like his posse is a bunch of monsters. And there's some people out there, and some soldiers have gathered, and they're like, you need to leave. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I come in peace, but I need a boat, so I'm going to leave through the dock. And they're like, no, you have to leave now, turn around and get out. And he's like, I don't want to hurt you, but you're not going to win in a fight against me. So please just let me pass. And they're like, no, we're going to kill you. And he's like, why do I even bother? He's like, I let one kindness trick me. So he kills the whole town. And then he gets on this boat with a captain. And he was going to just kill the captain and take the boat. But the captain convinces him, like, hey, let me be nice. You know, I want to get paid and do this, whatever. So he takes him across. And while they're traveling, he tells him he's like, wow, you know, as a forge master, you're educated, you have all this knowledge, you have all this power. Like, you could be such a force for good in the world. You could be a benevolent leader. You could do all this other stuff. And so Isaac's kind of like, yeah, you're right. Dang, I should. That's what I should be using my power for. So he gets off the dock on the other end, gets out, and is met with an army of soldiers. And they're like, turn around and leave. And he's like, my boat's literally gone. Like, you want me to run into the ocean? Like, I'm just passing through. We don't have to fight. I'm not going to hurt you guys. Just let me through. And they're like, no. And so he's like, you know what? Screw all of you guys. And so he turns the whole town into nightmare monsters. So it's just like, there's a lot of that philosophical, like, what is he supposed to do? What is he going to do kind of thing. And I like it. It's very good. Okay. It's good. I recommend it. It's very good. It's TVMA though, so you know, bear that in mind, anyone who's watching. But and you gotta have Netflix. Netflix is good as well. Now, to get to something that's family friendly, Onward. Steven, you're gonna love Onward. Like, you're really, really gonna love Onward.
Good.
Have you've seen trailers and stuff at this point? You kind of get the idea. Yeah. Basically, it's a Pixar movie. The premise is once the world was full of magic, but magic is hard to do. So people created technology, and suddenly no one wanted to learn about magic because it was just easier to flip a light switch to make things work. So the world became technologically advanced. So the world, it's basically our world, except there are elves, there are ogres, you know, there's trolls. There's unicorns, like anything magical or like fantasy, that is what the world is. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, there aren't any humans in the whole thing. You're either an elf, like most people are elves of some sort. So that's kind of an interesting thing there I'm just now thinking about. But anyway, the main character, Ian Lightfoot, and his brother Barley, played by Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, basically go on this quest to finish a spell to bring their dad back for one day. It is really, really good. There's a lot of D&D references, and I don't want to spoil any of them because there are so many great moments. But it's just a really, really good story. It's a fun story. Barley can't use magic, but Ian can, and Barley knows all this D&D stuff, so he's like, oh man, you can do this. And like, they're looking through the spell book, and Ian's like, oh, I want to try this one. And Barley's like, oh, you're a level 1 wizard. You can't do that yet. Like, it's just like, it's very fun. And they kind of go and learn, you know, different things together. But anyway, it was a really, really sweet movie. It didn't speak to me like some other Pixar movies have. Because I'm an older brother, and it's very much about a younger brother's experience with an older brother kind of thing. So I didn't really attach as much to it, but I feel like if you have the right kind of situation, you'll really identify with these characters in a lot of ways. But it's just really, really good. There are a lot of great fun moments, and I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to go see it. IGN gave it like a 7. I don't know what they didn't like about it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like...
I heard most people have thought it was just okay.
I mean, I would say, like, if I had to put a number out of 10, I would probably give it an 8.5 or a 9. Like, 7 to me, you kind of for that to be a number, you kind of have to have a problem with it. You know, even if it's just like a minor critique. I don't have any minor critiques, but I could agree with that statement of there's not this moment that just makes you say, oh my gosh, that just, like Inside Out. the imaginary
Yeah.
character. What's his name?
Oh man, we forgot him.
Gosh, I can't think of his name.
Bing bong.
Ding-
Bing bong. Bing bong. Bing bong.
Bing Bong, that's
Yeah.
right. Like that moment with Bing Bong, such an emotional moment. Makes the movie great.
That
Yada,
whole
yada.
freaking movie. That whole freaking movie, man.
Oh, I know. That whole
It's
movie's
so
great.
good.
But like, there's not a Bing Bong moment. You know what I mean? There is a moment that is really, really touching. But it's
Your
not.
choice for characterizing emotional moments in Pixar movies is a Bing Bong moment. I get it, but that's just funny.
I mean, it makes sense. Anyway, there's not that moment, but there's not.
Yeah.
I really have no critiques. My one critique is that I want another one. I want to keep going in that world. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, highly recommend it. Go see it, Steven. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it when you've seen it. But anyway, all right, Steven.
Anna and I we've been meaning to go on a date lately. We didn't even get to go on Friday, but we've been wanting to see it, so that's probably what we'll do this week.
Good. You need to go. That's what we did. We did it for a date night. We went out to eat. We went to eat at George Blue. New George Blue opened up in our town, and then we went to see the movie. It was a great time. I had a bunch of crunch while I was watching it. Best theater food out there. All right, Steven, tell me about the Warlords of New York.
So, Division 2 Warlords of New York came out this week, and with it, a whole slew of changes. Year 2.0, the shade levels, the New York map. There's just a ton of stuff that they did. And it came out a day early, to my surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was that about? Was that just a little happy they did, or
that was the PC version was launching at that time, and they thought they couldn't launch it all simultaneously because of technical issues, but they ended up being like, "Oh shoot, it's live everywhere." Have fun. That's basic. So that's my understanding of what happened.
Okay, I got you. It wasn't an intentional thing.
Well, I guess when they realized that they could, they were just like, "Oh yeah, might as well." So
it's out there. It's working.
That wasn't
the
yeah, that wasn't the plan, but that's where we ended up.
Get it.
So players go to New York again, and the way I've been describing the expansion is it's the very definition of quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Because the story is a new map in New York. It's 1-to-1 scale, so Lower Manhattan is recreated to the same scale as DC. And you have 4 sections of the map in which there are different activities to do, but there's also 5 main missions and I think 8 side missions. The main missions are all fantastic. I really liked all of them. Only one of them I thought was just kind of eh.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole point is that we're chasing Aaron Keener. That's the in Destiny terms, that's
the big bad, the Thanos.
That's Aldrin. Kind of. Like we've had a personal vendetta with him since 2016, mm-hmm. and now we finally have the chance to pursue him.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically what the story is. And they did such a good job utilizing the villains as characters, mm-hmm. and audio logs to teach you more about them. And like the story was very well done. The ending, I don't know about that.
Really?
Yeah. They did a twist at the end, mm-hmm. that was pretty interesting. That I saw it and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But certain aspects of the ending felt wrong or empty.
Mm.
and that doesn't harm the whole because the experience was great, but it does, well, I guess it does harm the whole because it kind of makes it feel like all of this wasn't building up to anything, which kind of sucks, but it was a great expansion. Gear 2.0 is everything that I hoped it would be. I'm really impressed with it's simplified, but it's not dumbed down, and that's such a hard sweet spot to find, but they did it, because I've already come up with like 6 different build concepts, and I've got 2 of them working. There's one build that I run, True Patriot. It's a set that makes it to where when you shoot enemies, they get marked with red, white, or blue, and as you shoot the enemies that have those marks, you either make it to where they deal less damage, they take more damage, or you heal every second that you're shooting them, and your team does that too.
Interesting.
So it's like an offensive support mark build. So I've been running that set, but I've been recalibrating it to be more for skill tier a little bit. So I've been running a little bit of damage, a little bit more armor than damage, but half skill tier. So I'm actually running a full combat medic. So someone that can shoot and take a bit of a punch, but the point of me shooting isn't as much to deal damage as it is to mark everything I possibly can, so that I'm healing everyone not only with just skills but also with marks.
Gotcha.
And that was just the first build that I thought of. There's so much more that you can do with like dot builds, crowd control builds, tank builds. There's so many freaking tank options now. Like they really have the system. It feels like its own thing, and that's so important because it's not just Division 1 recycled. It's Division 2 taking lead from Division 1, like saying, here's what Division 1 did well, let's utilize that,
Right.
but push the envelope. And that's what they did. For example, there's a new set, and I won't talk too long, I promise. There's a new set called Tip of the... Well, it's not a new set, but it was completely revamped to where it's called Tip of the Spear. And if you have 4 pieces equipped of Tip of the Spear, you get a bonus that makes it to where your specialization gun or your signature gun, which is what your specialization uses, like with the Survivalist, it's the crossbow, demolitionist, grenade launcher, gunner, minigun, so on. You regenerate ammo for that gun every 60 seconds, which is a big deal because normally you have to like kill things and do things to get ammo for it. So if you run any 4 pieces of that at a time, you get that bonus, and you also get more damage with signature weapons and stuff. So it's basically a set that's meant to run that. But they made it to where the different sets can have 2 special talents if you utilize the chest piece or the backpack piece. Basically, the chest and backpack is where talents can appear, which talents are so much more important now because they help define your build. But if you really like a set, you can be like, I'm going to use the chest piece of this set because I want to double down on what this set does to do it even better. So for the backpack of Tip of the Spear gives you a talent called Crossbow Specialist or something like that. And so if you run Crossbow, so if you run Survivalist and run that backpack and the total of 4 pieces of Tip of the Spear, you generate additional crossbow bolts every 60 seconds. So you can actually run a crossbow build now if you wanted to, which is something I never would have thought I was going to say. But it would work. It would be viable. They just made it to where there are so many more options because in making things more restrictive, they somehow made things feel more possible. And that's so important because before it was just so freaking complicated to figure out anything, and it's just in a better place now, and I'm really enjoying it. The shade level system is great, so you have an infinite progression system. I'm already like level 33, I think, past level 40.
Wow.
Yeah, and tomorrow, as of the time this airs, I think season 1 will start, which is where we're going to be every 3 weeks. There's going to be a new target. And as we hunt those targets down, they're going to lead us to the priority target. And then we kill her, and we get a new skill variant. And this is all going to happen over the course of 3 months. But there's also a battle pass attached to it, where you can get new gear and stuff. And for example, I already know this because I data mined it, or I looked at someone who data mined it. There's an exotic coming out, an exotic mask called the Coyote Mask, and it's for people who reach level 35 in the season, and it's going to be my exotic. I already know what it does, and it's all about buffing crit chance and damage for the team, and that's all I do in this game is I buff the team, and so I'm going to be running that, and so like there's a lot of incentive to level up in the season. But if you have the premium track, you get a lot of cosmetics and stuff, but you don't get stuff that affects your power. So there is no item to equip like gear piece or weapon that you will get for paying for the premium track of the season. Just because they wanted to make it to where there was no buy to win element. But that being said, they threw in the season 1 premium track for free for everyone who bought Warlords. So basically everyone is going to be rocking the premium track of season 1 just so they can get a taste of what it's like and decide if it's worth it for them to get season 2 when it comes out on the premium track.
Get the first hit.
But the season itself will be free, but just that premium track is going to be what they're going to charge like $10 for each season.
Right.
And I'm really excited. I'm already addicted right now to where I'm just always looking for more loot to get, trying to get exotics, trying to level up, get ready for legendary missions, which will be a huge challenge, and I can't wait. And seasons haven't even dropped yet. Season 1 hasn't dropped, and I'm already like basically addicted, so I'm in trouble probably. Like once that happens, I'm not going to be able to be pulled away from the game, probably.
That's okay. You just go off into Division World and have a good time and save New York.
And like, they added, last thing, New York's already saved, by the way.
Okay.
Come on. Yeah. They added global difficulty and directives, which make it to where you can change the difficulty of the open world and then add modifiers that give you more experience, as well as make the game a little more challenging. So we did that, we being me, James, and Jeremy, and we were like, okay, let's put the world on challenge, which is the second hardest difficulty available for the open world. And we did that. We activated 3 directives. One made it to where our radar didn't work. Another made it to where we couldn't passively regen armor out of combat, which is no big deal because they had me. And then we had special ammo activated for the enemies. So enemies had special ammo types that they could hit us with, like shock rounds and stuff like that. So we're like, let's see how this is. This will be fine. So we go to right in front of the Capitol building in D.C. There's Air Force One. It crashed, and it's the site of a control point. So we go up and start trying to take this control point, and we thought we were going to be able to run the gauntlet of control points because it was like they were resetting in like 35 minutes or something from when we went to Air Force One. It took us 45 minutes to clear just Air Force One. Because an elite patrol appeared, 2 resource convoys appeared. It was a war zone, and it was amazing because we could even hear like gunfire from other factions that were also going for the control point at the same time. So one faction showed up and attacked them while we were attacking them, and then we actually got civilian reinforcements coming too. So it turned into a literal war zone that was a crossfire with four different factions, and it took us 45 minutes to do, and it was great. And Jeremy was even saying like, dude, we have roles again. Like we have jobs. Like Steven's running a healer, and we can tell, and it's amazing. And we had a great time. It was super hard, and we didn't get too much for our effort. Like we got some gear, but we just didn't get terrific gear. Right. But that's the name of the game. But the fact that I can say I would have totally done that again, even if I didn't get any loot for it, because it was just so much fun. That's what I'm looking for in games like this, to where you don't play the game just to get the loot. You play the game because you just have a blast playing it, and there's just a lot of teamwork and communication, and it's just fun with your friends, and that's what Division has again. Like Division 2 struggled with that. Division 1 had that in spades at the end of its lifetime. So now like it feels like we're there again, and we haven't even done legendary missions yet, and that's going to be a nightmare because the exotic gun that I want has a 5% chance to drop in legendary missions.
Oh gosh.
So Yeah.
You'll get it.
But it's great. I'm really pleased with it.
Good.
Expect to see more on the channel.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortlecast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, you're already at Chortle Games on Facebook. That's the how you get to us, at Chortle Games on Facebook. Anyway, you can like this video there, comment, share it with your friends, follow our page. You can see when we go live, all that good stuff. We're also on Twitch if you would prefer to watch us there. That's Chortle_Games on Twitch. You can follow that, like it, give us your Amazon Prime sub if you can do that. I don't know how any of that works, but the more people we get following that, sooner or later we'll be able to put the podcast on there as well. And then if you want to stick around more with us, you can join our Discord, which you can get to in the description of this video. We post memes. We let you vote on what we're live streaming during the week. We talk and chat and all that good stuff. We've got different channels for different games we're playing, like Division and Destiny. So it's a lot of fun there. And then lastly, you can follow us on Twitter at Chortle Games on Twitter. We tweet every now and then. Brody mostly does the tweets. I follow things. I retweet things. And then occasionally I'll tweet when we go live and stuff. But mostly follow us on our Discord if you want to hear about that, or just follow us at any of the other places. We go live to everything. This isn't the only thing we do, Steven. This is the podcast we do every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. But we also do live streams throughout the week. We try to live stream Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday nights. We are kind of playing it loose this week. I don't know who's streaming when, but we will have a stream Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Expect a lot of Division. Expect at least one Dream stream. And, you know, we'll see where the rest of it takes us. Maybe some Risk of Rain. Maybe some Goat Simulator. Maybe, who knows, you know? The world is a strange place. A strange and wonderful place. And you're all in it with us. And we're just ready to go. Steven, thank you for being here. Thank you for your wonderful conversation and updates about the Warlords of New York. Yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Mm-hmm.